Posted by you/indiscriminate123. A little bit of backstory. My boyfriend, 28M, and I, 28F, have been together for 4 years. About 2 years ago, when the pandemic hit, I moved in with him as we both lost our respective jobs and needed to save on gas and utilities. Since then, I have found a new office job, and he takes some odd jobs online, but he mostly stays at home. My boyfriend has always been somewhat controlling. He wanted me to cut all my male friends out of my life. Hindsight is 20/20, I know, but in his defense, he also cut all contact with women, at least to my knowledge. He has always been very adamant that he doesn't condone cheating and even said that if someone in his life were a cheater, he would cut them out of his life. The relationship has had its ups and downs, and we've had our fair share of arguments. A few months ago, we hit a rough patch, but recently, things were looking okay for a while, or so I thought. Lately, he has become quite guarded with his phone, including hiding it if I look over his shoulder. He has never done this before, and it's very unlike him. I am very open with my personal tech items. He's always welcome to look through my phone and laptop because I have nothing to hide. We even know each other's phone passwords. My gut feeling kept telling me that something was wrong, so when I got up for work this morning while he was still sleeping, I took his phone from the nightstand and checked his conversations. It turns out my boyfriend has been chatting with a girl he met online, 25F. I only skimmed through the last few messages as I didn't want him to wake up and catch me snooping, but they have been texting back and forth every day while I was at work and sending each other pics. I was so shocked and disgusted. I don't know when it all started, but I assume it's been at least a month because that's when I first noticed the suspicious phone guarding behavior. Honestly, no matter how much I look for a solution, there's no coming back from this. I know I have to leave. I haven't confronted him yet because I don't want him to try and persuade me to stay or spin it as if it's my fault. I also don't believe in closure, so there's really no use in telling him that I know. Here's where I need advice. I have a place to move to, and I have to move all my stuff. I don't want him to damage my belongings out of spite or something. He has a history of throwing my possessions when angry, so I'll have people come help me move when he's not in the house. We have separate finances, so that's not an issue. The problem is, we have a dog. I adopted him with his approval when I moved in with him. I'm saying it's technically my dog since I do 90% of the dog activities. He rarely takes him out, and I buy all the dog toys and dog food. Basically, he's the fun parent who gets only the pets and hugs. I know he loves the dog and the dog loves him, but I don't think he'd be able to take care of him and get up at 6 a.m. to walk him. My baby is also too used to the house and us, and he'll probably be stressed out if I move him. Should I take the dog with me without telling my soon-to-be ex, or should I leave the dog with him? Another thing I need advice on is whether I should leave him a note or a message with any explanation. Any advice is appreciated. Update 1. First, I'd like to thank everyone who commented on my previous post. Your input really helped put things in perspective for me. Several people asked for an update, so here it is. It will be a lengthy one, so brace yourselves. One particular comment stood out to me. Someone mentioned that my pet doesn't know what's best for them and could roll in literal crap and be happy. This really solidified my decision. As a preface, I apologize for altering a couple of details in the original post out of paranoia that I could be found out. One significant change was that we actually owned a cat, not a dog. However, I was still doing 90% of the caring for the cat. Now for the update. After reading all the comments and deciding to take the cat, I called my best friend, her boyfriend, and my parents to tell them about the breakup and discuss logistics. I also warned them not to mention anything in writing in case my ex saw the messages. It took quite some time to put everything in motion, 3 weeks to be precise, during which I did my best to act like everything was okay while secretly moving some of my stuff to my parents' place to ease the final load. Finally, last Friday morning, my best friend, her boyfriend, and my dad came over. We loaded up everything into my father's truck and left. The whole ordeal took 1.5 hours. I was honestly amazed at how much stuff I had accumulated in just 2 years. I took everything that I paid for out of my pocket, including a monitor and a headset that I had lent him after his equipment broke, and he never replaced them. The only thing I left was a queen-sized bed I bought shortly after moving in. I also made sure to log into my ex's World of Warcraft account to cancel his subscription, which was paid from my bank account. I left a note on his desk that basically said, "Do not panic, you have not been robbed." I just took all my stuff and left. I'm taking the cat with me because I don't trust you to take proper care of her. Do not call me, my friends, or my family. We have already had the talk, so there's nothing else to say. Have a nice life, your ex. I didn't tell him I knew about the cheating because, at this point, it was irrelevant. In retrospect, it was just the last straw on top of many other problems. But hindsight is always 20/20. I blocked his number and never looked back. Sure enough, he messaged me on WhatsApp as soon as he came back to the empty flat. The gist of the messages was that we could have done it the civil way, Lamau, and why did I take the cat this way since we raised her together and he loved her. He also tried to call 3 times but gave up soon after. I then blocked him on WhatsApp as well. The next few days were pretty uneventful. Yesterday, he showed up at my workplace unannounced. I was annoyed but didn't want to make a scene in front of my colleagues, so I took a break and went out with him to the park across the street. Knowing him, he wouldn't just leave me alone. He said he wanted closure and that I owed it to him after all these years. The conversation was mostly boring, so I'll highlight the important details. He said he wanted my monitor back and that he was willing to pay for it or trade me his new one, which is better but wasn't with the same curve that he was used to. I told him that I liked my monitor and tough luck. The best part is he went out, bought a new monitor, set it up to play WoW, but realized that I also took the headset. He then asked his mother to buy him one and she bought headphones without a mic. He asked to have the cat back. He offered me money, all his crypto savings, and even 60k gold in WoW, Lamau. I told him some things can't be bought with money. He then asked to co-parent, and when I said no to that too, he asked to at least say goodbye to her in person, also denied. I brought up that I'm the cat's primary caregiver and he can't even clean her litter box. He replied he could when push comes to shove but didn't since I was doing those things anyway, despite him being in the flat almost 24/7. I also pointed out that if he really loved the cat that much, he'd want the best for her and to be with the one who takes care of her, instead of wanting to keep her for selfish reasons. He kind of agreed on that. The most baffling part, he offered to pay me to go grocery shopping together. We used to do that all the time when we were together. I pointed him to a couple of sites where he could buy groceries and have them delivered. He said it was too much work. I told him to adjust and evolve. He also apologized one too many times for hurting me, to which I replied every time that I wasn't hurt. I was just disgusted and cringed at the conversations I read, to which he got offended and mumbled that it was private. Not once did he mention the side chick. Even then, he didn't have the balls to admit to the affair. In their messages, there was a recurring joke that if he came to the hotel where she works, they'd have to smash in the janitor's room. I brought her up a couple of times, told him I wish them both the very best, and since I left him the bed, he doesn't have to worry about smashing in the janitor's room anymore. He asked to be friends multiple times. I told him, also multiple times, that he betrayed me and he's a pathological liar, and I don't want to be friends with a dishonest person. He legit couldn't comprehend how his dishonesty impacts a potential friendship. He said he wanted to tell me he wasn't committed to me anymore but couldn't bring himself to do that. I pointed out the hypocrisy of him blowing up at me for platonically talking to male friends online, but he cheats the moment a semi-attractive woman comes his way. He said that a woman cheating on a man is the greatest sin, but a man cheating on a woman is not so severe. What the actual hell? The rest of the conversation was him trying to play buddy-buddy and talk to me about his life. I kept reminding him that I'm not interested in his life and that he's a closed chapter to me. After what seemed like an eternity, we said our final goodbyes, and I went back to work. In conclusion, for the past week since I left, I felt like a huge load has dropped off my shoulders. I have all the time in the world. I'm working on myself, reconnecting with people I haven't talked to in years, and trying to live my best life. I don't regret anything. There were good times, there were bad times, but it was a valuable experience and a lesson learned on what to look for in a partner and, more importantly, what not to overlook. Huge thanks to everyone who commented on my post. You really gave me the push I needed to make what I hope is the right decision. Update 2. I was contemplating whether to write this last update or not. A bunch of things have happened since I last posted a year ago. Disclaimer and some background, I left out a lot of information in the original post and altered a lot of details to make sure my ex does not find the post and connect the dots. Our real ages are 28 him, 33 me, and 34 side chick. My ex and I were together for almost 7 years, not 4. My ex had a chronic disease, nothing fatal if treated, very manageable, and a lot of people with the condition can work. He was, of course, using it as an excuse not to work, even online work, and mooch off me. We lived with his mother, who was supporting his narrative that he is too sick to work. My ex was abusive, first only verbally, but it progressed to physical abuse. I omitted most of this information in the first post because I wanted an unbiased opinion on whether to take the cat or not. Even though the cheating was the last nail in the coffin of our relationship, I was actually contemplating leaving him for almost a year before the actual fact, especially on occasions where he ramped up the abuse. I will withhold giving examples for the time being because the topic might be traumatic for some readers. My last update ended with my ex coming to my workplace to offer me pixel money for my cat. This was in August 2022. I vacated his flat at the end of July. I thought everything was said and done, and I would not hear from him again. Spoiler, I was wrong. Since the breakup, He has messaged me about every 3 months on Discord for various BS, like how he lost his best friend or asking for photos of the cat. I didn't block him on there in case either of us needed to exchange items we forgot at our respective places. Sometime in March, I found out by chance that he was still using my old League account. He had been banned on 3 different accounts for toxicity. I gave him the password while we were dating, but I did not think he would have the audacity to continue using it after we broke up. The kicker is, all he had to do was ask me to use it, and I would have had no problem with it. It really rubbed me the wrong way that he could message me with his woe is me crap on 4 different occasions but conveniently forgot to mention that he was still playing on my account. I wondered for about a week whether to let it slide or to just change the password. Then he contacted me again about wanting to ask me something. I shot this down and reminded him that I explicitly told him not to contact me. He said okay. This lasted for a fortnight until he messaged me again, saying that he would ask his question regardless. I pointed out how I told him not to contact me and that he could not even respect that. So he had learned nothing, as he still does not give a crap about other people's boundaries. The question was, what did it feel like to be with a complete monster for 7 years? Why did you stay for so long? Apparently, the lad was going through some kind of epiphany phase. There were a lot of crocodile tear-laced explanations that followed. The gist of it was that he was doing some reflections, realized he is a complete lunatic and needs help, and apologized for how he behaved. I also found out that he had spent all his savings, including the crypto he offered me for the cat. So he could not take me up on the offer to buy my League account, Sag. Also, to nobody's surprise, his little affair did not work out. I did not ask for details, but what he said was, I think I finally met a person who is more sick and broken inside than me, which is quite an achievement. A few months prior to this revelation, a WoW friend from the side chick's country messaged me. For context, we are all Europeans and play on the same servers. This friend knew my side of the story, and when he found out that the side chick was flying to my ex's country, he put 2 and 2 together. He told me he didn't expect much from their relationship since a year ago. The chick was dating a mate of his, broke his heart, and flew somewhere else for the next WoW guy that gave her attention. Knowing these facts, and after what my ex said, I mentioned to him how ironic it was that he cried cheating if I was 5 minutes late after work but decided to involve himself with a woman who practiced cheating as a sport. He agreed that it was quite ironic indeed and that he had to lie in the bed he made, which was sort of mature on his part, I suppose. Also, did I mention he was too dumb to wire his own debit card to his WoW account? This is why he could not play anymore. Well, yeah, but I guess it was also because he lost his sugar mommy who was paying for it and failed to secure another. As for me, Kitty and I are thriving. I'm active, I lost 12 kilograms since the breakup, and I am getting back in shape, even though I lost the excess weight the moment I dumped my ex. I have reconnected with most of my friends and apologized for not contacting them much in the past 7 years and explained why. They were very understanding, and things have returned to how they were before. I have also met the most decent, kind, and compassionate man out there. So, life is looking good. Thank you for all the support, Reddit, and have a great day.